like, wow, 100, 200, 300, around 1,000 audience here. Thank you very much for coming. So actually this is a topic that is quite hard to give, especially when we are in a hall of kindness. One of my volunteers said just now that she went to every booth and got some very saddening stories and very empowering kindness activities. And then when we come to us, we're all about against. So actually we are not as aggressive as we sound. So to start off, this is not a slide made half-heartedly. I assure you this is not a slide made half-heartedly, though it only shows a sentence. Hi, I'm Mun, the secretary and also the full-time staff, and the only staff here in Malaysians Against Pornography. And this is my first time actually giving a speech like this, so please, I deeply apologize for any kind of craziness that I give. So I've been with this organization for the past 6 years, and this organization has actually been registered as an NGO in itself from 2019, but actually have done many small state initiatives since 2016. So ever since the beginning, I was there and I am still here up until now. Before I introduce you to the organization, let me introduce you on what actually brings me here, what actually brings the organization here. So a little quick facts about a very unsettling topic, or actually something that people would not like to talk about. It's very hard nowadays to see people talking about pornography, from parents to children, from teachers to students, or even among ourselves. Would you talk about pornography to the one next to you? I doubt so. So, currently, this is the latest report. Government issued, credible, don't worry, I only use credible sources. This is the latest statistics given on adolescents, where 6 out of 7 adolescents are active internet users. And out of that 6, 2 of them are addicted to internet. And no surprise at all, the most common device choice is smartphones, followed by laptops, computers, and followed by tablets or iPads. This is actually the most, I would say, common dilemma among parents nowadays, whether or not to give or not to give the phones to their children, because I admit there is a need for it. There is a use for it. You need to have your children to have their own phones to contact you in case of an emergency or anything. But how do you control them using the phones? Do you know everything that they watch or not? And that is the most worrying nature of technology. Like we all say, technology di hujung jari, and it is indeed di hujung jari. During the pandemic, you can see that the most famous or the most used pornography website, Pornhub, reported in this whole wide world, Malaysia is the 4th highest traffic. We have around, I'm not sure, I think 160 something countries in the world. But we are the number 4. We can win at sports, but we can also win in pornography surfing, which is not as good as it sounds. In teenagers, specifically from 13 to 24 years old, 35 of them are already exposed to some form of pornography, either intentionally or unintentionally. By unintentionally, I mean the most common example is actually pop-up ads that appears in their games, in the websites. But more unconventional example is actually watching their parents in the house. That is also a form of pornography, where the parents might forget to close their door when performing any sexual activity, or the parents just didn't care. The source of pornography, amazingly, we still have VCD and DVD, people using pornography on those methods. But of course, the most common source is the internet, because that's where all the good stuff is. And that's where the sources are not limited. Though, we must admit that Malaysia actually have quite a powerful firewall. If any of you search into your website now for porn, you can see that many of the sites are blocked. What you can see may be about porn addiction, maybe about the definition of pornography, but not about the activity. Because Malaysia has blocked the sites. But with the technology nowadays, with the VPN, with the multiple proxy servers, and with many kinds of attempts that actually our kids know better than us, it is not possible to block all the websites. In the same report, we can see almost half of teenagers, this is teenagers only, almost half admits that they have someone special, or some of them even to the point this is the one for them. And many of them have involved in some form of sexual act, either kissing, sexting, groping, or cyber sex. Those are the ideas that would not come just out of the blue. These actions does not just suddenly, one day you wake up and you feel like, wow, I want to grope someone today. That is not natural. It must come, the idea must come from something that they have watched, they have viewed, they have read. Pornography may come in various different forms, either written, either verbal, talking about or describing about a sexual action, and could also be imagery, either drawings, paintings. It doesn't have to be just purely videos. It could also be live actions, as I said earlier, watching their parents or watching maybe their uncles and aunts unexpectedly. And from there on comes the idea to these teenagers to perform their actions themselves. However, despite the statistics, the knowledge among them is not as equivalent to what they are doing. Can you see, sir? Can you see? I can move away if you need. We have 33% of teenagers who doesn't know that pregnancy can happen on first intercourse, which is very weird. They thought that it would need like 10 or 20 times, then only you can get pregnant. Which is why many pregnancies nowadays happen accidentally. But the action of performing sexual activity is not an accident. So the fact that you choose to perform that sexual acts should also mean that you are prepared for its aftermath. But these teenagers does not know that. That is the problem. They want to try, but they don't know what will happen to them. And the majority of teenagers who had already performed sex performed them before the age of 14. In primary school or early secondary school. Some of the girls or some of the boys might not even hit puberty yet. But if they both have already hit puberty, then we can expect more impacts to follow. Does it mean that it's okay if they did not hit puberty yet? No, because when you start doing it, you start to normalize it. And when you start to normalize it, you won't be able to stop. This is a statement released by Dr. Judith from the Institute of Media Education, Pennsylvania, which tells that viewing pornography actually changes the brain. It changes the need for consent. It makes your brain believes that, wow, these actions are consensual. And we know that any actions on pornography site are not all innocent in nature. We have various different actions performed, and some of them are not consensual. And they believe that they can perform the same acts towards others as well. That's what changes the brain and then affect their decision making. Okay, a second. Alright. This is a news was done in an interview with a media outlet in US with a retired NYPD officer or detective, which says 80% of sexual cases, homicides, rapes, 80% of them, I would say the perpetrator have viewed a form of pornography, either printed or videos or live action or whatever. Because that's where the idea comes from, for them to perform such act. How do we stop? And people will say, actually even with us, we have people coming in and saying, why don't we stop this site? Why don't we block the sites? We can block the sites, but for how long? When will it end? Or will it ever end and when? This study is actually published in 2000, the year 2000. On the year 2000, 200 a day is developed in a year. 200 websites is developed in a day. But in 2023, we can expect much larger number, maybe even 1,000 websites a year, who knows? And will we be able to stop them every day? Or is nearly impossible? We have even started a discussion with MCMC and the Communications and Digital Ministry, and they also said the same thing. It is nearly impossible to block every website because new ones keep coming in. The problem with pornography addiction is that the problem is when it starts to feel good. When it started off as pop-up ads, and then at one point we'll do, kids especially will have a nature to explore something that they do not know. What is that? What is the person in the video doing? And Googling deeper and deeper into that hellhole. And as the kid or the teenagers or even adults start to enjoy the video they're seeing, then that's when the problem begins and they will not be able to stop. The issue begins when they start onto the last phase of addiction, which is acting out or wanting a practical implementation of what they are saying. That is the most scary, most terrifying phase that we wish to avoid as much as possible. And to avoid the last stage, we must start from the very first stage, which is the exposure. So as we stop the exposure to pornography, we hope in the end we can stop or at least minimize the effect of sexual crimes. This is highly scientific, where how the effect of pornography is actually similar to the effect of drug. It actually releases dopamine, which is actually a happy hormone. The hormone that tells you, wow, this feels good. That is actually the dopamine talking. So as it starts to produce more and more as you continuously view pornography, it impacts the frontal part of your brain, which subsequently impacts your decision making, your memory, and your emotions. Which is why, just like drug addiction, if people are blocked from viewing pornography, they will lash out, they will snap. And in students, you will see a drop in their study performance because of their memory issues. So now, only we're coming to the introduction of our organization. What do we actually do? I must emphasize more on the severity of the issue and less on us. Because if you want to know about us, you can come over to our booth. But about the severity of the issue, it's something that not many people can say. So, as the name pretty much self-explanatory, Malaysians against pornography. We are not as aggressive as we sound. We are pretty peaceful and graceful in our approach. Our aim is to create awareness about the dangers. Of course, to network with as many agencies, as many corporations, as many organizations that we can, and to facilitate everyone addicted to pornography to professional help. Unfortunately, MAP do not provide intervention towards those already addicted to pornography, but we can assist them to seek professional help, especially to psychologists and counselors. And the fourth one, we would like to become the panel of experts, and I will show you later our team, which already consists, but we wish to expand more our team of experts, and for long term, of course, to make some policy changes in terms of pornography and sexual issues. Our team are a bit biased on the medical field. This is our core team, which consists of 9 people, with the 9th one being me, but I'm not there. So we have people, doctors from various specialties, from emergency to obstetric, from gynecologists, family medicine to public health. These are the ones who stand by the emergency department and receive the cases of young girls being raped, young girls being sexually assaulted, and they have seen that on a daily basis, and that is why we are developing this organization. And we also have people from other fields as well. We have people in research. We have Abdullah Azam, I would say, the youngest member, the one who knows the most about the culture of youngsters, and also others. You can see that we are a bit biased in terms of race as well, but we would like to welcome as many people from variety different backgrounds to join our team. So what do? We have 3 main modules. In terms of awareness, we have 3 main modules. First, to the students. We tailor each module to fit every age group. Primary, from preschool to primary to secondary school students. This one will be module-based for 6 different topics, which you can find in our booth, and given by our trainers. And the second module is for parents. We want to initiate a discussion about sexual education in their homes. But to do that, we need to encourage the parents first and teach them how to start the conversation right. Not to just straightly go into sexual acts, but to start slow. Start with something basics first, like the body parts. What are the private body parts? Why are they private, and so on. And the third module is for preschool teachers. We believe preschool children are closest to their parents and their teachers, but not strangers. So for us to come into preschool and give the talk to them, I don't think that would be efficient. But instead, we teach the teachers to actually deliver the modules to them. This is our 4 years performance. I'd say not amazing, but still amazing for us. Considering that pornography is a very taboo subject, we have been rejected from various venues, various events, just because of the name of our organization. So to bring this issue forward is actually very hard. Very hard to find people welcoming to the nature of this issue. But still, I include the 2019 and 20 together because 2020 is a dormant year for us, considering most of us are medical professionals. So we are busy in the peak of COVID year. So in 4 years, we have done more than 250 programs involving almost 30,000 audiences. And currently, the latest one, we have 216 activists nationwide in all states of Malaysia, including Sabah and Sarawak. So we can do our talks anywhere that you need us. And we want to cover as much ground as possible. But of course, as any NGO, and I'm sure everyone here can relate, our struggle is always about financials. As we grow bigger, our expenses also grow bigger. And that's why I welcome any sponsors should any be interested to do so. So in the end, just like everyone else, kindness unites humanity. And all we want is just the best for everyone. For us now and for our future generations. And that is all. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Bu.